Welcome to On Texas Football. I'm Bobby Burton. I'm joined by two coaches, Bob Shipley and Bryan Erwin. They both are in different spots this year. Bryan's son got married. He's up in God's country in Colorado near Aspen and up in Crested Butte today. So congratulations to your son, Bryan. Hopefully we can congratulate the Texas Longhorns in 5 days too. How about that? We'll all be riding on that. Hey, guys, I want to talk to y'all in this Lunch with the Coach episode brought to you by our friend Laura Baker at Keller Williams Realty. I wanted to talk to you all about keys to winning. And when we were talking in pregame prep about this, okay, neither one of you guys mentioned this sort of alignment or this sort of, got to run the ball, got to be able to pass. Neither one of you talked about that. You talked about two things that had nothing to do with X's and O's. Bob, I'm gonna hand the floor over to you first. Tell us what your number one key to winning is.
Well, it's going to be overcoming adversity, and there's going to be adversity on both sides. The thing I love about this game is you've got one of the best defensive minds in college football, the head coach of Oklahoma. One of the best offensive minds in college football, the head coach at University of Texas. Don't think for a second that these guys have already shown their hand on what we're going to see Saturday. We all know that, those of us that have been around football, that Seth Luttrell has got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He's got a lot of things he hasn't shown yet. He's been studying this UT defense because no matter what they've done up to this point, if they win this game, then everything that hasn't gone the way up to this point is gone. Okay? They beat the number one team in the country. So they will show us things and put us in binds or attempt to that will cause us some adversity. The same thing is true for, of course, Venable's defense. He's going to show us some looks, do some things that we haven't seen before. And so we're going to have to make adjustments on the fly. And once again, overcome adversity. You have to be dialed in and be ready because anything can happen at any time during this game. Both of us have been watching this game our whole life. We've seen it all. I mean, I remember back from 77, Randy McEachern bringing Texas back and beating OU. My first vivid memory of the Texas OU game. And since then, so many Dicker the kicker and, just so many different incredible moments in this game. And there'll be a hero that'll probably show up on Saturday. And another thing I've learned that you weren't expecting. There'll be somebody that'll show up and make big plays and almost make themselves legendary until if they can hang on to that moment in this game. So to me, it's all about overcoming adversity. It's not, there's lots of course, smaller stories and things that have to happen below that. But to me, that's the key. I've been on the sidelines on this game 5 times, I guess. And it's unlike anything I've ever been a part of. And you can't get caught up in the moment of momentum.
Yeah. I got to ask you this. I mean, Bryan, you as well, when I talk to you about this, one of your things is actually momentum. And you heard this from maybe one of the greatest coaches of all time. And I want to talk to you guys both about what y'all both had to say because I've got several questions. Bryan, you go first.
Yeah, my coaching career, one of the largest impacts I ever had on my coaching career was being able to hear Darrell Royal address UT football team a couple times the night before this Texas OU game, and both when Coach McWilliams was there and when John Malkovich was there. And I was just a young pup, but I listened and hung on every word he said. And everything he talked about was momentum. In these big games, especially Texas OU, it's about momentum and how you handle the momentum swings. And I can't tell you how much I carried those speeches into my coaching career, and especially in the big ball games and rivalry ball games and championship ball games. And I talk to my kids about that all the time. But what Coach Royal said is you got to handle the momentum swings. And the momentum is going to be grabbed by OU. It's going to be taken back by Texas. It's going to be grabbed by OU. It's going to be taken back by Texas. And momentum just keeps going back and forth and back and forth. And ultimately, the team that wrestles it away and keeps it is the team that's going to win the football game. And to me, momentum, there's a lot of ways you get momentum or lose momentum in football, but the two primary ways you do it is you get turnovers or you give up turnovers. Hopefully we get turnovers and we create momentum, right? Or we create explosives in the run game or the pass game or the special teams game. I know a guy named, I think his last name's Shipley. He had a big kickoff return. Those types of momentum plays, that Jordan had, those are huge momentum plays, and it's all about the team that can wrestle it away and keep it the longest. So I'm huge about momentum, especially in these games. And I think the turnover battle, and I think the explosives in the run game, the pass game, and the special teams game is what creates that.
I got a little tingle down my spine when you talked about Jordan taking that back.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'm going to say, and then I want to read Laura Baker and talk about her for a second to thank her for sponsoring, is what I'm hearing from you guys both in your voices is a level of respect for this game that is, it goes, you guys both know that this isn't your average game, and it doesn't matter what the records are. You can hear the I want to say the urgency in your voice almost when you talk about it and how this game can just, like you said, turn on a dime. I want to say thank you to Laura Baker at Keller Williams Realtor. If you're interested in moving to Austin or live in Austin right now and want a realtor that knows the city and the area like the back of her hand, you want to reach out to Laura Baker over at Keller Williams, 512-784-0505, 512-784-0505. Her email is laura@andyallenteam.com. Laura's a lifelong Austinite and just a terrific person as well. I think about what y'all are talking about here, and it's not X's and O's. It's this idea that it's execution, determination, and then actually coming out on top and staying with it. Bobby talked about adversity and needing to overcome it multiple times and then be able to conquer it. Bryan, you're talking about momentum in a way that both teams are going to have it in games, but then persevere and be the one left on top. Is this like a gut check to your program? Like that's the question for me. This is the sort of game, and I worked at Texas as an undergrad in the video department, right? And I could see it and hear it all week long too. It always felt like this was the ultimate gut check game. Who are you as a team and as a player? Is that the what y'all felt in those locker rooms as well, and what you think about this game now even?
No doubt. It's a gut check. It's about who's going to have poise under pressure. It's about who's going to execute and get it done in the crucial moments. Who's going to wrestle away the momentum? Who's going to respond to the adversity, as Coach Shipley said. That's what the game's all about. And you got to have poise. You got to have confidence and able to do that. So, it's huge about the intangibles. Yeah, X's and O's are important. What you do on offense, defense, kicking game, they're important. But the intangibles that Coach Shipley mentioned a while ago with responding to adversity, the intangibles of being able to wrestle away momentum and getting it and keeping it, that's what the game's all about.
Bob, I gotta ask you. You also mentioned something when you were talking there about we'll see things. I think the quote was, "We'll see things we haven't seen." Coaches keep something in their pocket for this game, you think?
Yeah, there's no doubt, and not only that, but just the matching of wits between the staffs in this game, because Texas is going to show OU things they haven't seen offensively. Texas will show OU things they haven't seen defensively, vice versa. How well will the coaching staff make the adjustments with the players during the game and at halftime could very well come out to be the team that handles that best, could be the team that comes out and wins. Because, like I said, you're going to see things you haven't seen before. Making adjustments on the run is some coaches are real good at it. Some coaches are not. Some coaches have their plan and they will not go away from their plan. But others will put the heads together as an offensive staff or a defensive staff, and you've got to quickly come up with an answer to what you're seeing offensively or defensively. that to me will also play a huge part in the outcome of the game.
I think I go back to this story that Rod Babers actually was one of the victims of. I don't know if you talk about the interplay and everything. Mike Leach, back when he was at OU, apparently left a fake play sheet on the sidelines for Texas to pick up. Rod Babers said he was the one that gave it to the coaches. And for the first 15 minutes of the game, they were calling the wrong defense for exactly what the other team was. I mean, this goes beyond the pale, right? This isn't when you say about seeing things we haven't seen, we still haven't seen that yet again. Barry Switzer is accused of visiting a Texas practice or having someone come spy on a Texas. I mean, this is that kind of game. Getting down to a little bit more of the players involved here. How important do y'all feel it is that Quinn Ewers has played in this game twice before, been out before he came into this game when they won 49-0, or with someone like Michael Hawkins, who's a true freshman? What do you think the Longhorns, do they have, because of their experience at the quarterback spot and his experience in this game, do they have a level of advantage there at quarterback, or is this game where you just throw it all out and you see where it comes out?
I like to think that, yes, we have a huge advantage. Will it play out that way? Nobody knows, but we have a huge advantage. This is Quinn's third go at this thing. And with the momentum, ups and downs, the poise you've got to have in order to play in this game and win in this game. Who's able to handle momentum? Who's able to have the most poise? That's the most experienced, the most talented players, and that's Quinn Ewers.
What about you, Bob? You think Texas has a advantage at quarterback, or is the freshman who doesn't know any better the guy I remember James Brown leading Texas to win as a quarterback coming off the bench, kind of, or not even, just playing his first game really.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think one of the differences this year is they don't have Caleb Williams waiting on the sidelines to come in and rescue him. I mean, if the true freshman doesn't get it done and they go back to the starter, they may have problems. This is a game, and I told let's see, what was his name? Who's the guy that returned the punt for us from Pflugerville?
Dajay Johnson.
Yes. I told Dajay before that game, this is a game where legends are made. If you can take one to the house, it will be played every year, and it has been played every year. And this is one of those games. Somebody will come up. I would like to think show up big. I would like to think a guy like Ryan Wingo will just go off on this game. But my instincts are telling me that Isaiah Bond, a proven guy who's played in these type of games before, this is a game where he's going to shine. A time for him with a national audience, huge game, number one team in the country. I want to go with the young kid, but I really think this is a game where seniors or experienced players that have played in big games before are going to come through, because Isaiah's played in so many big games and has come through in so many big games. I'm feeling like it could be a game for the veterans that have been there before to come through and pull it through.
Yeah, that's why I think Quinn is not just because I think Michael Hawkins is good is a bad quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good quarterback. He's just young, right? That's that game experience is what you're really talking about, because they know what the moment looks like. And so they've thought about it before and dealt with it before and know how to overcome it. Bond making the touchdown grab against Auburn last year for Alabama to win the Iron Bowl was absolutely huge on like a 4th and 31 or whatever it was. All right. A couple other things I wanted to ask you guys as we get ready for this. Look, it is offense versus defense in some respects as it relates to Sark versus Venables. And Bob, you mentioned this at the outset. If you're coaching offense, what do you do to Brent Venables' defense to try to peck away and get in and get the ball moving and into the end zone? Because the Sooners defense has shown a proclivity to be pretty stingy, especially in the red zone a year ago against Texas, and kind of make those plays. What do you do against a Brent Venables defense if you're Steve Sarkisian? Bryan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think again, like we talked about last week. I mean, we need to establish the run. The sooner we can establish the run, I think the better off we're going to be. We know Sark's going to throw it. We know the play action pass, the intermediate passing game is going to be a part of it. The RPO game can be huge. It's been big in the last couple of years. Throwing the ball to Worthy for, 1 yard outside and him taking it to the house. It's all aspects of the game, but I personally would like to see us get the run game going on offense. And as much as we've talked about offense and offensive, who's going to show up and who's going to show out, I want to think that our defense needs to shut these guys down. Our defense needs to start becoming a true championship defense and just stoning the run game, putting pressure on the quarterback in the pass game, and minimizing yards after the catch in the passing game, and just becoming a championship level defense. That's probably the most important thing that I think can happen is we've got to suffocate these guys. They've got a true freshman quarterback. They don't have any explosive playmakers out wide or in the backfield that I can see like they've had in the past. They don't have the offensive line like they've had in the past. We need to suffocate these guys. It needs to be a freaking avalanche. We need to take away their oxygen and both defensively and offensively.
Bob, what about you? Do you have? I love the idea of that. I want it to happen. But Bob, do you have any thoughts on the how you would overcome a Venables defense, or how you think maybe a Texas defense is able to become that suffocating defense?
Well, first of all, I think with the Longhorns offensively, first play is going to be a pass. It almost always is. You don't want to get stuffed first drive, first down for no gain or a loss. So it's going to be a high percentage pass, and I really think that the first series will be somewhat important for us. Certainly won't just decide the game or anything like that. But to me, it's always fun to come out and see Sark's opening offense, his scripted plays, what he feels like that he's seen the defense enough that they're susceptible to some things. I really look for him to throw high percentage passes, try to get the Oklahoma defense on their heels a little bit, have some success. You have to have success the opening drive. I don't care if we're on offense or defense. Try to set the tone for the game and know that it's going to be a long game, and the first series is not going to make a break or team, but it can go a long way, as Bryan was talking about, in creating some momentum. And what I would love for us to do, I'm sorry, I've got the hiccups, is go down there and score. And OU says, we can't stop this. We put our best defensive effort out there, and this is going to be a tough Texas offense to stop. Conversely, with us defensively, we've got to make a stop early. We've got to get them 3 and out if we possibly can, limit the number of times they can move the chains, and try to jump on them early. Of course, that certainly doesn't mean that we're going to win the game. We saw that last year, So I certainly think that's a lesson learned, and one that hopefully Sark and their offense, if we can get a lead, will keep their foot on the pedal.
Yeah, I thought Sark got beat to the punch last year early in the game because he was going for a high percentage pass that OU had scouted and jumped that route like nobody's business and got the quick turnover. So that's what I was trying to say. I mean, I'm anxious to see if Sark doesn't do something, like y'all said, just do something a little different than maybe he's done in the past. I don't know that to be the case. I mean, go ahead, Rob.
I don't know if that's necessarily needs to be the case. We have the better team. We have the better players. We can line up and go into this game with 12 plays and beat these boys. We have to go out and we have to execute and take care of the football. And we've got to block, we've got to tackle, we got to catch the ball, we got to protect, we got to cover. If we do those things and don't turn the ball over, create some explosives, we're going to win the football game. This is not about who's most creative. I don't think we've got the best football team. We've got the best talent. We've got the best coaches, and we just need to go play the game.
Yeah, that's those are fighting words in Sooner territory. I bet Bryan saying all that. Look, we don't know all of what Oklahoma will have yet. They've got some injuries that they're dealing with. They are a younger team than Texas, at least on offense at this point. Texas, the more veteran team on offense, and OU, a really veteran defense as well. So it looks like it's going to be two strengths squaring off in the Cotton Bowl. Before I let y'all go, I would be remiss if I did not ask y'all both this question. What's your absolute favorite memory of the Cotton Bowl in this rivalry? Bob, I'll let you go first, bud.
Well, not including a family member of mine, even though I was very Randy McEachern coming in and winning that game was very impactful to me as a Longhorn fan, as a young child. But I got to say Stoney Clark. I mean, that's the one highlight that gets me fired up every time I see it, because that was huge. I mean, to be able to make a play on the goal line like that, it's so hard. I mean, everything has to just happen right. So I would say, without involving anyone named Shipley, I would say Stoney Clark.
Okay. What about you, Bryan?
Oh, shoot. Besides getting stuck in between the two teams coming out in the tunnel one year, and I'm on the back side of Texas and the front side of OU, that was one of the most horrific nightmares of my life, waiting for ABC or whoever to tell us we could come on out, because I about got murdered between those two teams. So I'm just happy to be alive today. But besides that, oh, shoot, Bobby, in honor of you and me and our time, Peter Gardere. Peter Gardere throwing winning touchdown passes, 2 or 3 times, the last play of the game, the Cash brothers. What beautiful times. That's as good as it gets for me.
Johnny Walker did it too.
Johnny Walker.
Yep, good stuff. I think as I think about it in my time, y'all have just mentioned so many great plays. And I think that's why I don't know that I have a favorite Texas OU play of all time. There's just too many. One of my, Jordan's return. One of my favorites actually is another Jordan Shipley touchdown that Quan Cosby, basically cold cocked Lindy Holmes on that block. I mean, there are the Dajae Johnson punt return you're talking about when Texas was, everybody thought Texas was dead, and Dajae Johnson stood out. There's Stoney Clark stopping James Allen on the goal line. I mean, look, Sam Ellinger coming out and playing and out-dueling Kyler Murray, who went 1-1, right? Yeah. I mean, those things. I think
take the loss.
Take the loss.
I was on the field for 2 of them, and I was in the press box for 2 of them, and I remember Lynn Amity just ripping into Peter Gardere so many times during the course of the game. And I'm not going to even come close to saying what he said to Peter Gardere throughout the course of the game over the telephone from the press box to the sideline. But my eyes were opened, and I heard some things that a 19, 20-year-old kid should never hear. But Peter Gardere came out on top. Longhorns came out on top. In my time there as a student assistant, as a GA, we were 4-0, and those were some sweet times.
I love it. I love it, guys. All right. Hey, look, I hope some other Texas fans help create some of their own memories this weekend. That's part of what this rivalry is all about, because it goes down decades and generations. So thank you all for joining us on this week's lunch for the coach, or lunch with the coaches. I want to say thank you again to our sponsor. That is Laura Baker over at Keller Williams Realty. Just absolute terrific person. If you need someone to help you along the way to purchase a house or sell one in the Austin and surrounding areas, make sure you reach out to Laura at 512-784-0505. Reach out to her at laura@andyallenteam.com. That's her email. Either way, she'll take care of you, take really good care of you, and make sure you're going and getting into a house you like, or putting one on on the market that she can really help you out with. All right, coaches, this is going to be a big one this weekend. Next week, there's Georgia coming in, but all eyes on the Sooners and the Longhorns this weekend. We'll talk to you again next week, and good luck. Hope everybody has a good time watching the game this weekend. Hook 'em.